Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the 1UP Nitro National Series. We're at the halfway point of the season, race number 13 of 25 here for the Nitro National Series, and it's at the Nashville Superspeedway just outside of the eponymous Nashville, Tennessee. It's a very old surface, but it's going to produce a lot of great racing for us for 75 laps today around this 1.33 mile oval. And alongside me in the booth, as always, is Duke Anzac. So with this race at Nashville being a relatively short one, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to maintain track position up front, or if anybody's going to make a charge from the back of the field to try and see if anyone from back there can reign supreme, because we have the fastest in practice starting all the way back just inside the top 10, so we've got a lot of big names starting deep in the field. Anything you're concerned about going into this weekend?
Well, it's going to be one of those races where we're getting down to the wire here. So we want to be watching those who are on top of the points right now. And the two that are on top are Alex in the 3 car and Sam Denoto in the 00, So we're going to be watching them, and their statistics this season are almost identical across the board looking at this point sheet. So those two are just having stellar seasons. And of course, the 3 car is a little bit ahead. He's 40 some points above the ahead of Sam right now, but I'm watching those 2 cars to move through the field like they always do. And of course, I'm going to watch the pole sitter, Alexa Lutchen in the 50 car, who really has just not been hitting it in the past couple of weeks, but I think that today could be a big day for that 50 team.
And looking at the starting lineup, you are right. Alexa Lutchen starts on pole position for what is the first time this season, actually, she's managed to get pole position. So she will line up on pole position with Mark Davey alongside her, Peter Onjak third, Ryan Caggiano fourth, Matthew Polanski rounds out the top 5. And you mentioned the top 2 in the championship. They are starting 10th and 12th in this race on the outside line in a race where the inside's probably going to be the most dominant line to run. Is there going to be a tough time for these two trying to get down to the bottom and trying to make their way around, trying to gain some positions early on?
It's going to be a hornet's nest in the beginning of this race. There's no question about it. It always is like that. So whichever one of them is able to get to the bottom the fastest, I think is going to have an advantage. Now, they don't want to lose a lot of positions. I think that they can expect to lose a few positions to that inside lane, but it's going to all be about minimizing the losses in the beginning of this race and then overtaking a lot throughout.
So with that being said, the cars are lined up on the grid, and we are, as always, ready to bring you the action. This is the 1UP Nitro National Series from Nashville Superspeedway, and the green flag is coming at you live next. With Alexa Lutchen on the inside, Mark Davey on the outside, bringing us to the green flag, which is in the air at Nashville Superspeedway. We are underway, and Lutchen gets a good jump on the field, heading down the front straightaway and into turn 1. Peter Onjak looks like he's going to fall or into the first corner of Matthew Polanski in another Toyota, pushing him down, but he starts to lose a bit of momentum a little as they head off turn 2. They're side by side behind the race leader.
Yeah, it looks like Alexa Lutchen got a really good start right there, pulling far ahead of the field right here. And there's still 2 wide behind that's only punching a bigger hole in the air. And it looks like the 38 car has gotten clear, and now sights are set on that 50 car. It's lap 1, but it's time to go. You got to make up some time here.
Lutchen, these are her first laps led in quite some time, and I'm sure she wants to keep this lead for as long as possible, preferably for the rest of the race if she can help it. But that 38 of Mark Davey getting a big push from his countryman Ryan Caggiano, and they are both hungry for a win here at Nashville. Davey to prove he can win on an oval, and for Caggiano, he become the second driver ever to win in both divisions, so that's a big feather in his cap right there. But Lutchen continues to lead the way with Davey in second, Caggiano in third, and the field's starting to string itself out a little bit, at least the top 5 for a bit.
Yeah, it looks like Davey isn't really catching a lot, to Alexa Lutchen. Here's the 8 car who started on the bottom of the track, has remained there and gained a few positions. And I'm looking around, I remember that the 3 and the 00 started right a little bit near him. I see them back now. It looks like Sam Denoto has gotten to the inside lane already in this race, and Alex in the 3 is still trying to get down there, and the hole is going to close up with the 7 car there as well. So looking back there, you really want to get to the bottom of this track, and there's Polanski making a move on the inside just ahead of this group right there. So you really want to make the passes on the inside. You want to ride on the inside, and if you're on the outside right now, you are at a disadvantage.
So see Matthew Polanski trying to make a move on Peter Onjak. That is the battle for 4th position. But Onjak continues to hold on to that. He's yet to score a top 5 this season. He's looking to do that here tonight. And with Ryan Caggiano and Mark Davey trying to work together to catch Alex Forget-Berube, this is going to be an interesting battle, I feel, because these cars are very evenly matched. The aero package and the series runs run very similarly. So these cars are very aerodynamically similar to each other. It's all about what's under the hood and what's behind the wheel for these drivers to gain an advantage over each other.
Yeah, and it looks like that 38 car has caught Alexa Lutchin, who is the leader. They're still nose to tail given, but it looks like there could be a battle brewing right there as the 38 tries to set up a good move. Maybe going into one of these corners, he can get to the inside of the leader and then maybe try to make a move there. But we saw a little bit earlier, a little bit deeper in the pack, moves trying to be made. But the outside lane isn't terrible when you're entering correctly. When you're trying to make a move, when you're trying to defend your position, it's not horrible, but you don't want to stay up there for very long.
So with Lutchin continuing to lead, she's led all 6 laps so far, coming to complete lap 7, ahead of Mark Davey and Ryan Caggiano, who seem to have gapped Peter Onjak and Matthew Polanski by a good 6-7 tenths of a second. So these 3 are starting to pull away from the field and make a bit of their own race for the lead. Considering that Davey and Lutchin have both won this season, Lutchin at Bristol and Davey at Sonoma, Ryan Caggiano is yet to win this season. So a win here tonight will be a very big boost for him because he currently sits 4th in the points, 9 points behind Dylan Young in the 2, who's currently outside the top 10.
Yeah, and these guys are really, it's crunch time at this point in the season because you gotta get the points right now. You know your situation, you know where you're going to be, and here's Matthew Polanski on the inside of the 70 car, making another move to try to pass Onjak right here, and it looks like it's going to work out this time maybe. On the bottom, they're side by side down the front stretch. Looks like he got clear going into turn 1, and Elijah's going to follow him on the bottom. But Onjak gets a good run on the outside of the corner, and he's going to clear the 8. Maybe not. It's hard to tell. Looks like he did clear him though. Maybe not. Maybe the 8's going to stay down there. Good battle right here with a bunch of cars all packed together.
See, there's Autumn Koger and Jared Jackson back there as well, battling side by side. That is for 7th. But right now, the battle for the lead is heating up between Mark Davey and Alexa Lutchin. But Lutchin continues to hold the advantage by a couple tenths over Davey and Caggiano. And Ryan Caggiano is looking to make a move here on Mark Davey to try and take 2nd place away. They may have raced each other for a long time and know each other's strengths. But these two are really trying to settle this battle for 2nd because one of them, I feel, is going to try and challenge Alexa Lutchin.
Yeah, and the 81 has gotten to the bottom of the 38 going into turn 1. Oh, but there was a huge arc from Davey going into the corner, and he's going to be able to keep the momentum on the outside and pass it back by Ryan Caggiano there. So that was a really good move, good defensive move from the 38 car right there to maintain 2nd place.
So as they come off turn 4, that battle is still yet to be resolved. But Alexa Lutchin's starting to pull away a little bit from these guys. Got about a 4/10 lead over Davey and a 6/10 lead over Ryan Caggiano. So these 3 are starting to gap the field a little bit. They've got Polanski 1.2 back, Ironhouse 1.7 back, Peter Onjak a full 2 seconds off the lead. So it looks like for now anyway that these 3 cars are going to settle it. But don't be too sure because here comes Matthew Polanski in the 18 trying to catch up to his teammate in the 81.
Yeah, that 18 car is looking really good today. I've seen that car makes some really good moves, and of course that 8 car behind him as well has been following through, and now Matthew Polanski is less than a second behind the leader, and probably getting some draft down the straightaways from those 2 just ahead. And of course, Caggiano in the 81 car, he's still working on that 38. He lost some time after the last attempt, but he learned a little bit, and he's going to go for it again down the front stretch. He's going to cut off the front stretch, make it shorter, get to the inside. Now he's got to get up the track as high as he can and then send it down to the corner so the 38 can't arc, but he did. And the 38 is going to keep the spot in the same way he did last time. That's, oh man, what a great battle it is. What a great defensive car that 38 car is today. And he's able to rocket around the outside of the turn.
He certainly has a wide enough car to block the charge from the 81. And as you can see, the field is starting to single file a little bit. The first battle is between the 2 of Autumn Koger and the 3 of Alex Forget-Berube in the battle for 8th position now, as Caggiano continues to drill into that bumper of the 38, hoping to get Davey to make a mistake, as he hasn't made one yet, though. It'll be interesting to see who blinks first, and the last person to blink might be the one to get the position, as Caggiano makes another move to the inside. I'm not sure if this one will work out quite as well as the one before it, and Davey stays ahead just barely to keep second place.
Yeah, that 81 car, he keeps on trying that move down the front straightaway. He knows he's got to go. This is a stack-up happening behind the 38 car, and that just means that these cars behind are faster than him. Here comes Caggiano into turn 3 this time on the bottom. He's going to hold it down there, but the 38, he's going to arc it. Oh, but this is going to be really good. The 81 is going to get a great run down the front stretch here. He's going to be way farther ahead than he has been going into turn 1 for the whole thing, and we'll see 38 lunges in, but it's still not enough for the 81 to get past him.
Oh, and they make contact off of 2, and Davey is slowing on the racetrack. I believe that impact has punctured his left rear tire, and it certainly has. He's on his way to pit road.
Wow, what a crazy circumstance that was. I mean, it was a really hard battle, and then all of a sudden it got really crazy really fast, and the 38 is coming down pit road without a caution.
So Mark Davey will fall out of contention to win this race here on lap number 19, but he will have the advantage of not having to pit again for the rest of this race. So put Mark Davey in a very good position to take the lead later. And we got another car on pit road. That's Elijah Ironhouse with a mechanical failure. His day is done on lap 18, and he will finish in the 39th position as Mark Davey pits for 4 new tires. That's just an unfortunate break for both drivers. Both were running in the top 10. They were having good days, especially Mark Davey, but now Davey's got a hole to dig himself out of, and Ironhouse is just out of the race completely.
That is a catastrophic lap for 2 drivers in this race. That was just incredible. That doesn't happen very often, but now that 81 car is in second place, so we'll see what he's able to do in catching the 50. Of course, there was some contact there, so that set Caggiano back a little bit, trying to fight for this lead. So we'll see what happens. Though the 50 car is putting up a really good race right now, and of course we just have seen a lot that it's been difficult to pass so far, and they're 3 wide in the back. And
look who's moved into third, the 23 of Jared Jackson, who started outside the top 10 today. So good run from this 23 car, and as you said, there's a hornet's nest behind him. Matthew Polanski leads Autumn Koger, Aaron Hall, Peter Onjak, Alex is there, Nicky Martinez is there, and Dylan Young has made his way into the top 10 as well. So there are 7 cars under a blanket right now between 4th and 10th. And Jerry Cook in the 72 is leading that second pack of about 5 cars as well, and they're starting to close in. So this is going to be a very interesting battle for position, as it looks like Alex has found the bottom of the racetrack, and he's managed to get past Sam Donato as well, who's yet to crack the top 10 in this race.
Yeah, that was a dangerous position for the points leader to be in right there. And I'm not sure if they radioed to him to tell him that his teammate just lost a clutch in this race, but if they did, that's got to be in the back of his mind to know that it's in the back of my mind with the team cars. But it's something to keep in mind. This 3-car, our points leader, who is doing better than Sam Donotto right now, who's in second place. If that clutch goes, then it's going to be a very different story very quickly. So we'll see. Right now he's making a move on Matthew Polanski, who's stuck on the outside.
And right now the battle for second heating up, but this time it's Jared Jackson putting the bumper to Ryan Caggiano in the battle for the second position. We're already a third of the way through this race. Time really flies when you're having a good time, and this crowd's being treated to a good one here at Nashville Superspeedway, as Alexa Lutchen now holds about a second's lead over Ryan Caggiano and Jared Jackson, who continue to battle it out for second.
Yeah, this is starting to develop into a really good battle. You know, and this whole season we've been expecting that 23 car to do great things. There were a lot of really good qualifying efforts from that car. And so far this season, it just has not, the performance in the race has not been there, especially at the end of the races. So if that 23 car could have a solid ending to this race today, like he's running right now in third place, fighting for second, if the race, if he could just stay in contention for the whole way through the race, I think that would be a win in their book. And it looks like he's trying to go, he's going to think better of it here, but he was trying to go for second. Oh, maybe he won't. He's going to send it down into turn one. We'll see what the 81 can do on the outside. Oh, he can't. He was able to send it in, but the 23 is going to stay on his quarter panel going down the back stretch. We'll see what happens here. He's got the preferred lane going into turn 3. They are side by side again. Last time they were side by side through this section that ended up in catastrophe for the 38 car. This is a really fascinating situation. So now the 23 is coming up alongside the 81 going into turn 1. We'll see what happens if the 23 can send it down in there fast enough to beat the run on the outside. And it looks like the 81 is going to be close, still on his quarter panel, and it's allowed the 26 or the 2 car to catch right up to him. This is a good battle.
Yeah, that's Autumn Koger in that 2 car who's closed in on the battle for second, making it a 3-car battle. And now Aaron Hall has made his way up into the top 5. He started fairly deep in the field here this afternoon. He started all the way back in 17th. So to come from 17th up into the top 5, Aaron Hall's got a fast car under him. And now Jared Jackson's going to try and see if he can't try and fend off this 2 car while at the same time try and bring the battle to the 81 as well.
Yeah, it looks like these 3 cars are really fighting, and the 2 cars, man, he got right up onto the bumper right there. I thought that the 2 was going to go to the outside, but that is just not how it happened. I really thought that was going to be a good run right there. If you're able to send it through the corner on the outside like that, I'm so curious to watch, to see if somebody starts trying to do that every lap when they're not trying to defend the position. If they entered higher and then arced really low through the corner to see if they could gain a run down the straightaways, I think that could gain a significant amount of time in this race. But while they're all battling, they have lost about a second to the leader, who is now, looks like, less than a second ahead now that they're not side by side anymore. They're starting to catch back up with the draft a little bit. But if they were to work together here, this group of 3 cars, they could draft together. They'll go right back up to the front, and then it'll be a 4-car battle for the lead. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I want to see somebody take the challenge to the 50. And I just saw behind this group a side-by-side battle for 5th place with the 3 and the 7, Aaron Hall on the outside. We're not focusing on that right now. There's 23 cars still riding in between the 81 and the 2, sitting in 3rd place.
Yeah, this is a good run from Jared Jackson. He had a top 10 at Valkenburg last time out, and he was satisfied with that. I imagine he'll feel even better after if he can hold on to a top 5 run here at Nashville. But he's got Autumn Koger right on his bumper for 3rd. She's not going to take it easy on him for sure. But these 2 are among the best in the field that we have right now. They're going at it for 3rd. Is Caggiano. They're continuing to close the gap on Alexa Lutchen as we go further back through the field. We see Sam Donotto running just outside the top 10 in 12th position. Not where he wants to be, considering Alex is up in 6th. This is going to be a very interesting battle between these two for the entire rest of the season, even after points reset in the 7-race championship.
Yeah, really, these two have been the class of the field for the whole season, and of course the 3-car has been moving up through the group, started in 10th, and is now up to 6th place, given 2 of the cars that were ahead have dropped out of the race, including his teammate. But you know, the 3-car is looking really good, and the 00 he has not moved at all from 12th place in this race. So it's something to just keep in mind. It's something to watch for, you know, and see, just to think about these runs when you see the final regular season points. Think about days like this when, you know, neither of them were really in contention to win, but one of them was a little bit better than the other, you know, and it happens with both of them from week to week. And we've got a train of cars that I can't believe weren't wrecking right there. And now we've got a battle for second place. They're catching up to the leader, and the 23 is on the bottom.
Making a charge on Ryan Caggiano is Jared Jackson now. And as they come across the strike to complete lap 36, or to complete lap 35, I should say, Jared Jackson, I should say, has moved himself into second. It's hard to get these guys sorted out. The Superstar Series is off in Kentucky. They're off doing their own thing, and it's hard to keep track of sometimes. But Jared Jackson,
so it's like, I totally understand.
Absolutely. Matthew Polanski back in 8th position, having a solid day. But no one's had a better day than Alexa Lutton so far. She's led every lap so far. But don't look now. Here comes Jackson. Here comes Caggiano, Koger, Hall. They're all making their way up towards her. It's a group of 6 cars, all the way back to Dylan Young in 7th, who are gaining on her lap after lap. So expect this to become a 7-car battle for the lead here shortly.
Yeah, it's interesting to me, you know, even when they were side by side, they were gaining time on the 50-car. And of course, right now when they're single file, they're going to be gaining time because of the draft. It just makes me wonder, though, if that 50-car just isn't quite as good on the long run. And maybe we're not seeing it in terms of getting past in this run because of the accident that happened with the 38 car, and then of course the 3 car also dropped out of the race, or the 8 car dropped out of the race. But you know, they're catching at a rapid rate right now, and they are all racing each other pretty hard. So it's fascinating for me to think about what could happen in the next run of this race, the run to the finish. And is the 50 car going to be able to have a big enough lead as these other cars start to become better than hers towards the end of the race? We'll see. We'll see if she can even keep the lead before the pit stop. I'm not totally convinced that she will be able to with the 23 car setting laps like he is.
He's making moves. He's got the fastest lap of the race so far, and he's currently gaining a lot of time on the 50 as they come up turn 4 to start lap 40. We're past halfway in this race, so Alexa Lutton will lead the most laps in this race no matter what happens from here. That'll be a valuable bonus point for her. But as we know, 50 points for a win, 45 for second, 40 for third. That's a big difference in this season. So these top 3 really want to get up into that top spot because the points are just that much more if you can finish that high up.
Yeah, and you know, I'm looking at Jared Jackson where he's in points, and he is not out. He's not in the safest area. You know, he's sitting there in 8th, and he's still like within that bubble zone of the amount of points you need to be kind of safe going into the last race. And a win would seriously help that effort of making it into the playoffs and having a good run in the postseason. You know, so the 23 car. Having a good run today is really good, but a win would be even better for that team.
He's got to get past this 50 car if he wants to do it, and I wouldn't put it past him to try and make a move the old-fashioned way on this 50 car, because he is more than enough aggressive for his driving style, and he wants this lead more than anything. He wants a win for this Motor Dash Racing team to prove that they're among the best in the business, and so far they're currently 8th and 12th in the point standings, with Felix Anderson in the 87 currently running 21st. But Jackson's he might be carrying this team. Anderson certainly pulls his own weight every once in a while. He's got 2 top 10s this season in the 87. But Jackson's making a move right here on the inside for the race lead. Will he get it as they come off of turn 4? Jackson on the underside of Lutchen. They come off turn 4. And they're still going to be side-by-side off of 4. I believe Lutchen will have this lap. But Jared Jackson's going to have a great position heading into turn 1 here.
Yeah, this is going to be good. Can the 50 defend on the outside? Send it in. Oh, it's not going to be anywhere near as much as the others who have tried that today. They're still going to be side-by-side, but the 23 is way ahead, and he has the drafting help behind by the 81 and the 2. Everybody's going to go by the 50 car here on the bottom. My goodness, what a battle.
7 cars under a blanket for the lead here at Nashville, and Jared Jackson's put himself into the race lead on lap 44. He's your second leader of the day. But don't look now, because Ryan Caggiano is looking for the lead as well, but he has to back out of it to save his car. He was dangerously close to the apron there. So that's going to allow Lutchen back to his outside. They're going to stay side by side for a while. But Jared Jackson's taking the lead of this race for just the second time this season.
Yeah, and Jackson is really liking what he's seeing behind him. Side-by-side racing, all packed up together. That's exactly what he wants to see. He knows he can pull away from racing like that very easily. And, of course, there's a pit stop coming up very, very soon. But, you know, right now, Alexa Lutchen was able to get back into second place, and she's clear. Let's see what she can do behind the 23 in the draft a little bit. Dirty air. She's been in no traffic all day today, so we'll see how that car handles. It looks like it's handling pretty good. Driving right up to the bumper of the 23 car.
And she's riding the bumper of Jared Jackson right now. Makes a move to the inside, coming off of 4 to the stripe. Jackson leads that lap, but only just. As Lutchen tries to get to his inside, she's gotten to his inside. What can Jackson do to defend on the outside? They're going to remain side by side off of turn 2. The big question is, who is going to have the better run for 3 and 4? Will it be the 50 or will it be the 23? I believe that Lutchen's going to be able to, maybe not. Maybe not. Jackson's got a good, he's got a good run off the high side. They're going to stay side by side for another lap. Jackson again continues to lead this race, but Lutchen is right there and is looking to strike here. As it looks like they're, oh my goodness, they're still side by side through. They've been side by side like this for a long, long time. You'd expect to see this at like a Superspeedway, like Pensacola or Armory Digital, but not at a place like Nashville. My goodness.
This is awesome, you know, and every single time we watch these guys go up really high on the entry of the corner, it seems like they're pushing it too high every single lap. We'll watch it here. The 23 going to enter super high in the corner and dive down low, get a huge run coming down the banking. It looks like the 23 is going to clear the 50 this time, but then the 50 still has the 81 to deal with, who is working on the outside and actually passing cars out there. And then, of course, there's a big drain on the bottom still behind. So this is some fantastic racing right now coming up to the pit stop.
And as they cross the start-finish line to start lap 50, we are 2/3 of the way through this race here at Nashville. And it hasn't even been that long either. Time really flies, like I said. But the drivers sure don't feel that way. They want to keep racing for as long as they can. But Jared Jackson, on the other hand, he wants this race to end now. He's happy being out in front.
This was the last lap, Jared Jackson.
Oh, but they're coming on the pit road to start the green flag cycle. Autumn Koger stays on the racetrack. She will take the race lead as Jackson leads the entire rest of the field on the pit road. A couple of back markers were already on pit road. So this will make things very interesting for this rest of this race. As Autumn Koger stays on the racetrack to take the race lead for the first time, but she will, I assume, peel on the pit road any minute now for her scheduled pit stop. And that should, in theory, give the lead back to Jared Jackson when the pit stop cycle out. We will see, though.
I'm not sure about this strategy with the 2. I believe that maybe she just wanted to have a less congested pit road when the pit road, you know, because everybody pitted at the same time and they were all coming down pit road as that group ahead of them was coming out of the pits. So we'll see if the 2 car has that much of an advantage from that. We're trying to see who is going to cycle out first. It looks like it will be Jared Jackson right there as the leader. Yeah, for sure, by a lot, too. And there's the 81 on the backstretch, the 92, the 7. Here's 50 and the 18. Oh, boy, this is going to be a much more spread-out battle than we had beforehand, it looks like. But Jared Jackson will keep the lead by a significant margin here after the 38 car makes the step. Now, I guess that's a question. Does the 38 have to make another pit stop?
I don't think they do. Is the thing they pitted earlier in this race to replace a flat tire, but the thing is, Davey, while he's in the lead right now, he has about 30-40 lap older tires than those behind him. They will swallow up this lead very quickly. So, for all you Mark Davey fans out there, this lead may be short-lived. But it's good to see him out front again after having his issues on pit road today. And his issues on track with Ryan Caggiano have put him in a bad position. But he's leading right now. So Mark Davey has the lead of this race by 1.6 over Jared Jackson. But that lead is going to close up in a hurry because of the fresher tires on the 23 and the rest.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that the 38 is going to have as bad of a finishing position as they anticipated. You know, that strategy might have worked out at least to salvage a day out of this. It won't be as good as it was before the contact, but, you know, the 38 car is looking pretty solid right now to be able to have a nice top 20 recovery maybe instead of having to finish a lap down behind everybody else. So here comes the 23, and we've seen some problems with lappers before in this season. I don't anticipate a problem here with the 38 car, but you know, there might be some congestion that happens due to the lap car being in the racing line. It looks like they're coming through the corner here, and the 23, 81 are both stacked up a little bit, going a little bit slower. They're going to make the move down the back.
And keep in mind, who is the driver who put the 38 in this position? The 81, who's making the pass right now. Will we see any retribution for that? I don't think there will be. From the 38 class move right there to stay out of the way for the leaders, and Jared Jackson is back in the lead of this race with 20 laps to go.
Yeah, and Jared Jackson is running the outside lane. Oh, this is what I was hoping for this earlier in the race. Somebody to try that outside lane with the big arc into the corner and dive down the banking. Try to get a good run down the backstretch without anybody to their inside. I really wanted to see that, and it looks like it's worked out for the 23 car a little bit. And gained a couple car lengths on the 81 down the backstretch. That was a really good move into one. Let's see if he does it again here. Really fascinated to see. Oh, I couldn't tell because the 81 did the same thing as him. I'm not sure if the 81 learned or if the 23 took it normal. But either way, they both had the same way through the corner right there, and the 81 was able to maintain, even gain a little bit through turns 1 and 2 that lap.
And as they come off of turn 4, the battle for the lead heating up between Ryan Caggiano and Jared Jackson as they take less than 20 laps to go in this race. The battle is heating up for the lead, and the field's starting to spread out a little bit. Mark Davies going to play a factor in that, I'm sure, because of how slow he is compared to the rest of the field as Caggiano makes a move to the inside of Jared Jackson for the race lead. Here they go in the turn 3.
This is it. This is side by side for the lead, maybe for the win if they can hold it off, but the 23 is able to stay ahead of the 81 right now, and the 81 is going to have to shuffle back in the line. There wasn't enough momentum in that move, but as they race side by side, here comes the rest of the field. They're closing in again.
Here's the 2 and the 92 of Koger and Young making moves on Ryan Caggiano going into 3, but Jackson starting to extend his lead a little bit, coming to 15 laps to go in this race now. Off of 4, Jared Jackson has a comfortable lead, but the top 5 is closing in on each other. As we could have another one of these 5-car battles we've seen earlier in this race with 7, but we may have another one on our hands as Jackson continues to try and fend off the charge from Caggiano.
And Caggiano is really looking like he's better than the 23 right now. It's just a matter of where to make that move. We've got a move for 3rd place right now with the 92 trying to make a move on the 2 car. They're going to be side by side down the front stretch. So that's going to help Aaron Hall catch up in the 7 from 5th place. And then there's a group of 3 that are drafting significantly farther behind. But as soon as these front two get side by side, that's going to slow down just about everybody. And as I say it, the 81 starts to look. He makes the move into turn 3. He's going to have a lot of momentum. He didn't really allow the 23 to set up a high side momentum run, and the 81 is going to have a huge run off the corner. Is he going to be able to clear the 23?
I'm sure he will this time by. But no, Jackson stays to his outside, but Caggiano sends it in deeper. That's going to allow him to get out in front of the 23. But Jackson may still have a fender on him. Yes, he does. So Caggiano has to stay in that middle lane, entering the corner. That's not really where you want to be. But the 81's making the most of it. He is now clear of Jared Jackson. Put Ryan Caggiano in the lead of this race. We are closing in on 10 laps to go. Could the Aussie get his first career win right here?
That would be amazing if he did, because that was a fantastic move. That might have been the one of the best moves I've seen today, as in terms of just like pure power in the car, driving past the other guy. You know, usually it's a move into the turn and it's a momentum deal and you're using the banking to your advantage, but right there he just drove by him on the inside, got a better run coming out of the corner despite being on the lane that doesn't produce a run. And man, oh man, that 81 car is looking stout right now, but the draft is working against him because he's got the 23 and the 92 hounding him right on his bumper. And as I say that, he pulls a couple of car lengths ahead, and they're going side by side for second place. That's exactly what the 81 wants.
Dylan Young, though, I think he's got a really fast car under him. He got past Autumn Koger earlier in the race. Now he's working his way past Jared Jackson, as we can report a DNF for Keith Hughes in the 11 with some sort of mechanical failure. Not what his team wanted, because he entered today 9th in points, as we've got a battle on our hands for both second and for 4th place between these 4 cars that are dicing it out for second. But Ryan Caggiano is just pulling a lead that I'm not sure. Dylan Young needs to get this move done fast if he's going to have any hope of catching this 81, because Caggiano is flying through this.
Yeah, there is not enough time to be fooling around side by side right now. Either one of them, they need to go. They need to get past the 23, who's gone so high through the corner. He's going to be able to stay up there. And I do want to mention that 11 car. That is going to really shake things up towards the bottom of the playoffs. Keith Hughes is really, even underneath Jared Jackson, needs to have some good runs. And that second to last is not going to help that effort. But right now we're watching this battle. And the 23 is slipping, falling back after leading so much of this race, you know, having the dominant car finally passed the leader in the 50, led coming out of the pits, and now is stuck on the outside and getting passed by a bunch of race cars.
But now Dylan Young has free track to go after Ryan Caggiano. There's 7 laps to go in this race. The question is, what can Ryan Caggiano do to fend off Dylan Young? What can Young do to try and get around the 81? We've still got a couple laps left in this one to decide it. We now have 7 laps to go here at Nashville, and Ryan Caggiano, this is not his bread and butter of the short tracks, like we've been saying. He's good on the short tracks, he's good on the road courses, but he could very well get his first career win here on the 1.5 miles.
Yeah, and we've seen some stuff today where the leader will have a big advantage, but it'll close up, you know, as the race flows, it closes up. And person in second place right now, that 92 car of Dylan Young, you know, sitting in 3rd place in the points. This is no fluke, these two being up front at this point in the race. And really, I mean, this is going to be a crazy battle, because the 92 has the draft, is catching up. We're coming to the close of this race, and man, oh man, I'm just getting so excited to see what's about to happen when the 92 gets there.
And now Keon Daly in the 52 has moved up into the top 10. He's taken the fastest lap of the race, away from Jared Jackson, so that's 1 less point for the 23 in this race, 1 more point for the 52, as we now have 6 laps to go. And looks to me like this is going to be a battle between Young and Caggiano for this race win. It's going to come down to the final lap, I have a feeling, because these two are not willing to give each other an inch.
No, not at all, and with no pressure from behind, that's really only helping the 92. Not having to defend anything, it's full offense right now. for the 92 car in second place in that Ford Mustang. And there they go to the bottom of the track. We'll see through turn 1. The 81 is really good at defending on the outside. We'll see what happens. Oh, gonna get a good run off the corner, and not gonna be the contest at the moment because the 92 is still stuck back there. Gonna make a dive bomb move, but they're gonna have to settle in to third place, or second place, I guess. I am just disoriented because this is so exciting.
Ryan Caggiano was 4 laps away from his first career win in the International Series, and he could join Justin Hutchinson as drivers who have won in both series of one-up racing. He's on the verge of it right now. He's still got 4 laps away, and in those 4 laps, Dylan Young can do a lot of things to spoil his day. But a caution at this point would end the race and give the win to Ryan Caggiano. So he's hoping to see any kind of flag atop the flag stands, because that would just say he's closer to his first career win.
Yeah, this is going to be really fascinating. I just caught some lap cars out of the corner of my eye, though I don't think that they're going to be a factor in this race. There's not enough time for these guys to catch them, but the 92 is still right there. I mean, it is not over yet at all. The 92 is just trying to set up the move, trying to time it out just right to get a good run into 3, get side by side coming down the front stretch, and then completing that move into 1 and 2. But they've only got a couple more laps to do so. We're gonna have to see how this works out down the backstretch this time. 92 is gonna have to set up the move right here. Oh, I don't know if it's gonna happen. The 81 has got a good run. We'll see.
Flying down the back straightaway, white flag next time by. Here comes Young to the inside of Caggiano. They're going to be side by side off of 4th, coming to the white flag. But Caggiano's got a good run up the high side. He'll clear Young again. White flag is in the air one more time around from Nashville Superspeedway. And Ryan Caggiano is 1 lap away from his first win. The second would be the second driver to sweep the series. But Dylan Young is still right there. I imagine this will not be over until the checkered flag flies, because here comes Dylan Young down the back straightaway for the final time. He's gonna make a move though. I feel on the inside he's got to tuck back in. He's got to duck out at the last moment for this. Coming off of turn 4, Young makes a move to the inside. It's not going to be enough though. Ryan Caggiano takes the checkered flag, and he is your winner at Nashville Superspeedway, his first career win on the Nitro National Series. What a drive from these two to take a 1-2 separated by that slim a margin. What a race from these guys. They really put on a show. Jared Jackson will come home in 3rd after leading a lot of the laps today. Autumn Coker will come home 4th for her best finish in the series. Aaron Hall gets another top 5 in his bid for a playoff spot. That'll certainly help him. With Matthew Polanski will come home in 6th ahead of pole sitter Alexa Lutchen in 7th. Alex Forget-Berube extending his points lead even further with an 8th place finish ahead of Kyle Corbett, who gets his 2nd straight top 10 in 9th, ahead of Keon Daly, who picks up the fastest lap and brings home a 10th place finish. This has been quite a duel between Caggiano and Dylan Young at the end of this race, separated by just 7 100ths of a second. Would you have believed that when we came into Nashville here today?
No, I really wouldn't have. I did not expect that to be so down to the wire. I had no idea going into turn 3 on the final lap who was going to be the winner. And of course, it was the 81 car, first ever Nitro National Series win. A fantastic performance today from Ryan Caggiano, and you know, that just is only helping. You know, I bet you that's gonna close him and Dylan Young up in the points towards the top of the board there. And there was a lot of shakeup in towards the bottom, towards the bubble line. You know, so this is going to be really fascinating going into the next race, and man, I'm so excited to watch what happens next.
And that next race will be at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They're on the road course over there. If Ryan Caggiano had any momentum going into this race, he's really got some now, and he's going to his favorite track type on the road courses at Indianapolis. That'll be a lot of fun for our first trip to the Brickyard for the One Up Racing Series. I'm sure you'll want to join us for that one, and we hope we'll see you there as well. So from Duke Ansack and from myself as well, we say goodbye from Nashville. We'll see you next week at Indianapolis, but for now, congratulations to Ryan Caggiano. He is your second double division winner here in the One Up Racing Series. He does it at Nashville.